it's time to blow this scene. Get everybody in the stuff together. Okay, 3, 2, 1, let's jam.
Hi, and welcome to the What Did You Think podcast, episode
Seven.
Seven.
Ben, this is a very special episode. Do you know why?
Why is it, Cameron?
Because it is the finale of season 1 of What Did You Think? The
Season
podcast.
1 finale. You know,
Woo.
I didn't think we are gonna make it this far.
I actually
but
did. It wasn't very far away from the start of the season.
That's fair.
But I'm excited that we're here. I got on my 2022 shirt.
And I got on a job that I had earlier this year.
Nice. We're taking a stroll down memory lane. I graduated. You changed jobs.
I got married. I mean, you know.
You got on your wedding band just in remembrance for 2022. Oh, you weren't even wearing it. Okay, now you do.
Now I am.
Yeah.
Now I am.
I got these glasses in 2022. Not the prescription, just a different frame. You know.
And speaking of 2022 and things coming to an end, this is our last podcast episode ever of 2022.
Until next year. See you next year. I'm sure jokes like that are going to come back at the end of this. But Ben, I'm wondering, for such a special occasion, what movie are we reviewing today?
You know, that's a good question, but I can't answer that just yet this early without us getting some content first.
Oh,
so Cameron,
right.
Christmas was last week.
It was literally yesterday.
No, it would be. Yeah. No, it was 2 days ago. It was 2 days ago.
Well, yeah, but that's me, and where I'm from, literally yesterday means 2 days ago.
Oh,
yeah.
Because us in California, just like, yeah,
right.
I get that.
Right.
Well, what are some good things that you got for Christmas?
Well, you know, here's the deal.
Because
let's break the facade a little bit. Let's break the facade.
I got you a microphone.
Yeah, that's probably one of the worst gifts I got because I'm not even using it.
Yeah, you're not using it.
But I will say, let's break the facade a little bit. Normally, now this is not. I'm not saying this happens normally, but for this one specifically, we are recording ahead of time. You know, so that is to keep in mind. Everyone watching this will have already had a wonderful Christmas. Hopefully everyone was safe. I know there's a lot of bad weather this year. I hope this episode goes up with both of the hosts still alive because Ben's coming to my house to play D&D very early before Christmas. But you know, I can carry this place on my own if need be.
I'm sure you could. I'm sure you could.
Yeah, and I'm sure Sarah would let me use your microphone and your recording setup and all that stuff.
Yeah, you could just just show
I
could
up just
to
move
my
into
house.
her basement and all that stuff. Yeah. Anyway.
Yeah. No, that's really good.
Yeah.
But speaking of the movie that we're talking about this week, there's actually many movies.
Oh, really?
You see, me, so Cameron and I had a good idea of.
Well, this was your idea. Don't be modest. This was your idea.
Was this my idea?
It was.
I was going to be modest or humble, but either way, I had this idea of we should make, you know, sort of like a list on our favorite movies that have come out in the year of 2022, movies and TV shows. Well, that idea that I had sort of expanded to where we came up with an idea of let's do a draft of our top 5 favorite movies and top 5 least favorite movies. Because
and also top 1 favorite video game
of 2022. And the reason we're doing a draft is because if we just did a straight up list of top 5 movies, our list would be a
lot of the same. It would be like the same 7 movies in different orders and then maybe 2 or 3 different ones. Absolutely. And that's not interesting for a podcast. So Ben, as someone who doesn't know how sports work, I'm curious what a draft even means. Am I going to the war? Am I going to the war, Ben?
You are not going to the war. Well, you are. You're going to the war against Ben Brooks and the epic movie draft 2022 extravaganza of the first ever What Did You Think draft. And what this is that we're gonna flip a coin on Google or
on
IRL.
Live TV. On live. I have coins right here, actually.
Yeah, we'll
in my 2022 jar.
Wow. Wow.
But it says my name on it.
We're gonna choose one, heads or tails, and
maybe whatever should have been my prop.
Whatever the coin lands on. So say I'm heads, say it lands on heads. I get the first pick of the draft, okay? and from there we'll just cycle. So I'll get the first pick, he'll get the second, I'll get the third, he'll get the fourth, and so on until we get to our.
Of
Wait,
course.
I messed up. I get to choose the first one, and then he gets to choose his first one. Either way, I get to
Right.
pick first before him, and we're gonna be
And
doing. Oh, go ahead. No, go
I
ahead.
was gonna say, to make sure that we don't forget watching it, obviously for audio listeners, you're smart, you can remember. But video listeners, you're also smart, but I'm gonna cut out this part if this doesn't end up happening. But I'm gonna try to edit on a list on the screen so we can keep track of what we're saying.
Mm,
So yeah.
that's very cool. Well,
Yeah.
hoping that you do it anyways.
Let's not make too many references to it just in case.
Or we could only reference it to where you have
Yeah,
to do
yeah.
it.
If you look at this part on the list,
I'm not gonna be pointing anywhere. Okay,
right?
I'll just let
Please
you
don't.
know. I'll be nice. Okay,
Hmm.
but I guess I got really nothing else to say. Should we just jump into this? We got a list here.
Let me grab this coin real quick.
Your headset did not pick up any of that, by the way.
Oh wow, that's crazy.
That's so nice.
What wonderful mechanics and technicians and soundproofing technology they have at Corsair, our sponsor for this episode. Just kidding.
Corsair.
Just kidding. Just
No.
kidding. No. Any headphones company, whether it be Corsair or maybe
Or
some
Rig
wireless headphones,
RIG.
Anyone, feel free to reach out. Anyway, and yeah, so I just dropped the coin. So okay, Ben, heads or tails?
Should we do heads or tails to choose our head if we're gonna be heads or tails?
Okay, I'll pick heads for this, and then
Okay,
I
I'm
will.
gonna pick tails.
If I get
it's tails,
heads,
I get heads.
Okay, so if it's tails, you get to pick if you want heads or tails.
Yes.
And then if it's a heads, I get to pick. Okay.
Yeah.
It's heads, and you wanted tails, so I'm taking it.
No.
I'm taking tails.
No.
All right. All right.
Heads, don't fail me now.
You put a lot of power in my hand to look at this coin and lie to you, but I won't. That's a heads.
Let's go.
Let's go.
So we're gonna be starting with our
Our worst lists.
our least favorite movies of 2022.
But I think the best way to ask this is, hey Ben, what did you think of 2022?
2022 is full of a lot of ups and downs,
Lefts and rights,
and some
fronts and
U-turns
backs.
here and there.
Yep.
No, honestly though, what I would say, this is a pretty solid year for movies. Towards the latter, I'd say it was kind of bare.
Yeah.
Towards the beginning of the year, we were given everything everywhere.
No, right. Everything. I was thinking that everything everywhere came out very early in the year, and up until maybe October, I thought that was a clean sweep. But which is
it's definitely not as good as, like, I would say 2019 or yeah, it's better than 2020. I mean, good job. I guess you beat a virus. You beat a year of movies where movies can't even be made. So
right.
Congrats. But
yeah.
And I would even say probably, oh no, last year was pretty good too.
This was a good year. Let's not talk too down on this year. This was a good year.
Yeah, I would agree.
But yeah, there's also quite a bit of stinkers. All right, and Ben's gonna start us out with his least favorite movie of the year.
So with my least favorite movie of the year is a movie I know Cameron hasn't got to see yet, or hopefully he'll never see it, honestly. It is a movie directed by Machine Gun Kelly. And wait,
are we doing the whole cast and crew for everything?
No, I'm not. This one,
okay.
It's not directed by Machine Gun Kelly. It's wait, yeah, it is. Okay, his real name is Colson Baker. I don't know why I thought his actual name was Machine Gun Kelly.
You thought his government name was Machine Gun Kelly?
I thought it was like,
you thought his parents,
Kelly.
I don't know the Machine Gun Kelly lore, but you thought his parents gave birth to him, held their baby boy in their arms, and wrote down on the little slip, Machine Gun Kelly.
Well, No, well, whatever. Okay, that's not important. Um, but it was a movie directed, written, and starring Machine Gun Kelly, along with like Dove Cameron, who will probably also be on this list with another movie,
Maybe.
and like a bunch of other celebrities. It's completely awful. For those of you, I know this is not a popular one, but basically the synopsis reads it follows London Clash, played by Machine Gun Kelly, a movie star whose world is turned upside down when he must choose between pursuing his one true love and landing a life-changing starring role in a major motion picture.
This is
Well,
very similar to High School Musical and plot, it sounds.
well, not at all. Also, but yeah, I would
Yeah.
agree. Pete Davidson's in this movie. He's also on this list. So,
Yeah.
but he's got a solid movie this year. That might be on our favorites.
We got to stop. Let's
I'm
talk about the
sorry.
movie at
I'm
hand.
sorry.
Let's talk about the
You're
movie
right.
at
You're
hand.
right. Either way, Good Morning, MOURNIG, uh, is the number one for my least favorite movie of 2022.
Well, Ben, why don't you tell me a little bit about why you hate it so much?
Um, I mean, uh, let's. I
Are there
watched.
any redeeming qualities whatsoever of this movie?
I think it's like redeeming wise, if you are an aspiring filmmaker and you turn on this movie, there is a lot of like, oh, I shouldn't do this.
There's a lot
You
of
know?
lessons.
Yeah. So a lot of like lessons you could learn from this. I think I'm more frustrated with the fact that I had an opportunity to watch Jaws or watch Good Morning. And I've neither like when first watched this, I never like it was a while since I watched Jaws. I haven't watched
Right.
Jaws since I was like 8.
Right.
Oh, I remember it being scary and whatever. I was like, but I
Mhm.
could watch Good Morning, which I've never seen. So I hate Good Morning for, that like 1 hour
You
and
hate Good
33
Morning
minutes.
for a choice that you made.
Yes,
Yes. Well, that's a lot of this list is, to be fair.
that's fair. That is true. Well, Cameron, what's your first pick?
Well, my first pick was a very late addition to this list as I watched it today. Um, and not only did I watch it today, I watched it today shortly after finding out my subscription to Apple TV Plus was no longer a thing, which meant I logged on, ready to go. I'm gonna watch a good movie today. I'm gonna watch Cha Cha Real Smooth. I'm gonna watch Causeway. Two movies that are getting a lot of buzz right now. Two movies I still haven't seen. Thank you to this movie that I had to watch instead, which is Paws of Fury, The Legend of Hank. This movie, man, absolutely zero redeeming qualities. Like
Absolutely.
literally none. Every now and then a movie comes out where you just have to wonder, who is this for? And this is one of them, because not only is this just a random animated movie, like if that was the case, I don't even know if it would be on my list, but like it's still pretty bad otherwise, but like it is a animated kids movie that is a remake of Blazing Saddles, which is not a kids movie.
No.
And I don't know how many people, Ben, maybe I'll ask you, were you asking for a Blazing Saddles animated remake for kids?
Ever since I saw the first Blazing Saddle, I was always wondering, I wonder what would happen if they made animated movie about a dog voiced by Michael Cera called
I wonder what
Paws
would
of
happen.
Fury.
I wonder what would happen if they take all these jokes, made them safe for kids, but also took away the context that made them funny. By the way, Blazing Saddles is like a classic or whatever. I tried it, it was okay. I didn't even finish it, honestly. I don't stop a lot of movies. That one was I was just kind of bored. So taking that and then translating it to this, it has it's okay, so let's break it down. What is this for the kids? I mean, it's supposed to be. It's
Yeah.
animated, there's fart jokes, but a lot of the jokes are like, "Hey, you remember this from Blazing Saddles?" which the kids won't. But then if you look at it for adults, there's not enough like good stuff like things happening for the adults to latch onto. I fell asleep during this movie, um, which is not a common occurrence, but yeah.
I find it also like the animation to just be completely like excruciating, like to just
Yeah,
watch.
no,
It's so bad.
It looks straight up like it's a Nickelodeon movie, but it looks
No,
like it
because
was
look at Nickelodeon movie, like there's bangers to
no. But
Nickelodeon
what I meant is
movies.
like it looks like something that like a TV movie level stuff, you know?
Right.
Like, dude, there's this scene where like there's this herd of horses, and like when they're like widening out to show how big the herd is, instead of like making them run like regular horses, there's just one horse, and then it goes like a rigid horizontal line where they just expand out like that. Maybe it's supposed to be a joke, but it just looks super cheap.
I don't
It's
know.
so, and it has this like one of the most star-studded casts of the year.
Yeah. Isn't Samuel L. Jackson in it
Samuel L.
too?
Jackson, Michael Cera, Michelle Yeoh, um, other people that are important. Ricky Gervais is a big part of it, which
He's
I
done a
don't.
lot of like weird
Yeah,
movies like that.
yeah. The guy, I don't know how to say his name, uh, but another famous person. Um, you know, it's weird. It's so weird.
Yeah, it's not fun. I saw it in theaters. Um,
Why?
I had A list, and even with that, I still thought I
Did you
lost
go by
money.
yourself?
Yeah, yeah, it was terrible.
I'm
It was
sure you're on a
terrible.
list somewhere now. It's not it's not the kind of movie
I
you go
went
see by
like
yourself.
10:30 on like a Tuesday, so there's like no one in there.
Yeah.
I don't
Well,
know.
I'm tired of talking to this movie. I'm gonna fall asleep again unless you tell me your second pick for
Well,
this year.
my second, you mentioned fart jokes and Paws of Fury. Well, if there's one thing my next movie has in common with anything, it is the like worst animation I've seen of the year and excruciating amount of unfunny jokes, including but not limited to fart jokes. It is Marmaduke,
Ah,
starring Pete Davidson. Like
welcome back, Pete.
actual back
Friend
to
of the
back
worst
Pete.
list. Yeah.
Yes. No, it is if you like you can do yourself a favor and look up Marmaduke on like IMDb or uh Letterbox or anything like that. Just the cover, it's also on my Instagram. Just the cover of Marmaduke actually like scars me for life. You can look up a picture of a movie called Ivan the Incredible, which is a movie made with probably like a few $1,000 budget. Like I kid you not, like less than 10 grand, and it is actually awful. Like the movie looks and feels like a fever dream, as does Marmaduke. Marmaduke literally just goes around town farting and saving the day. I kid you not. That's like what he's good at is just farting. Uh, it's so bad. I wanted to put it one ahead, but the fact that it was animated showed me that someone spent time on it.
Hmm.
Versus where Good Morning, where it's just a bunch of like people that just like celebrities got together to
It
make a
seems
movie.
kind of like Good Morning seems kind of like an Adam Sandler, one of his comedies where it's just him and his friends on vacation and they want a tax write-off. And so,
Like the perfect example also is like movie 43. If you've seen that, it's just like
I haven't, but I know all about it. Yeah.
it's awful. It's so bad. That's my worst movie like ever I've ever seen.
Yeah.
So
I
and
ha
Good Morning gave me a lot of vibes of like someone like it's just him and his like wife or girlfriend. Are they married? Him, Machine
there
Gun Kelly, and
there's something,
whatever.
you know.
I'm talking. That's how bad it
Yeah,
is. It
wrong
keeps on
movie.
creeping in my
Yeah.
mind. No, Marmaduke is actually just awful. Don't watch it. It's
Right.
just me.
Like when I was a kid, there was this movie. I know there's a new live action Pinocchio, but the old live action Pinocchio was it was in my house, and my parents kept all the movies in their room, and the cover of that movie would make me scared to go in their room because it's so terrifying. I don't know what year it came out, but the older live action Pinocchio has one of the scariest covers of all time. And I feel like that level of fear is what's going to keep some kid like that's going to be this Marmaduke is that for the new
Have
generation of
you seen
kids.
it? It's just like him looking in the frame
Dude,
or whatever.
it's rough.
Stares right into your
Pun
soul.
not intended, right? Well, rough, rough. I'm a dog.
Well,
um,
Cameron, what's your second pick?
my second pick, you know, there's been a lot of pain in this list so far.
Mhm.
So to change things up, I'm going to talk about a movie I actually thoroughly enjoyed, but for none of the reasons the movie wanted to be enjoyed. And that is Moonfall. Moonfall is I was telling this to Ben earlier. There are some movies that you watch and like you sit down and when you're done, the credits are rolling, you're taking it all in, and you think, this movie, I could watch this movie so many times and find something new to appreciate about it every time. And that exact thought is also applicable to Moonfall because there's just so much to take into consideration. It's 2 hours long, 2.5 hours long, basically, and they're two separate movies, and they can be summarized in two quotes. Minor spoilers for Moonfall if you're worried. Um, go
Don't
in
tell
complete.
me.
No, go in completely blind, but I'll say these two things, you'll be fine. This first quote summarizes the first half of the movie. On the count of no, we go on three. 3, 2, 1. Okay. First of all, that's not a joke in the movie. It's just genuinely an accident that no one caught. Second quote that explains the second half of the movie. We downloaded your consciousness. You're part of the moon now.
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah.
What? Oh, my
Yes.
interest is peaked right
Dude.
now.
No, there is like it is two separate movies and both of them have so many problems. Have you ever watched a movie and like one actor stands out as like, how did this guy get hired? Maybe they
Mm,
ran out of money on this character. That
yeah.
applies to pretty much every character in this movie except for maybe Halle Berry.
I was
You
about to
know,
say, isn't she in that?
yeah, she's fine. But like everyone else is just like, who, why, who else auditioned for this to be the best pick? You know, like there's a lot I could say.
Ugh,
There's a lot I could say, but that's one that I think you guys should go watch. You too,
wow.
Ben. So Ben, I'm
Wow.
gonna have to ask for your next movie.
So I'm getting into a hard part here where I feel like if I don't take this movie, you're gonna take it. These both are really good options, but I'm gonna have to take Morbius.
Hmm.
Um, Morbius, even though it made him more $1 billion, it still somehow made me fall asleep in the theater. I don't know, maybe it was the one of 100 slow motion shots that were in the movie, or the terrible dialogue of I don't know how I got here. Probably something to do with Spider-Man.
Yeah.
Uh,
Bro, that post-credit scene is so bad they had to strike it from canon. Like that's not something that happens
oh,
every day.
the fact that like wait, they did strike it from canon.
In the re-release, which is a whole discussion on its own, they took
Morbius
out that post.
re-released.
You don't know about that? Okay,
No.
I'll explain this later. Then you talk about your opinions of Morbius, and I'll explain that whole thing.
So I'm not a diehard Morbius fan anymore. No, I never was. I think from when they announced there was going to be a Morbius movie, I was like, oh, that'll be a cool gritty movie that Marvel's going to make. And then
You're like the only person who thought that, bro.
I don't know. I go to see the movie and their trailers like they were hinting at Spider-Man that was going to be in it. They had the Vulture in the trailer. They
They had a
had like
picture of Spider-Man in it. Yeah.
they had a guy with like a bionic arm in the movie, and unlike the guy that sued yesterday for Ana de Artemis not being in the movie, I did not want to sue because I did not care because I was asleep during the movie. The fact that like, oh, it makes me wonder how the writers got their job from Sony slash Marvel to write this. It's
Right.
like, what is the thing scene that he says in the prison? It's like,
It's Morbin time.
no, he does not say it's Morbin time. But it's like you won't like me when I'm hungry or something like
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
Like
They
tons
make
of
the
these.
same they make the same joke that no wait, oh wait, we're straight up just making fun of the wrong movie. That's actually a genuinely funny thing in the Incredible Hulk movie because he can't speak the language they'll speak and he's trying to say angry and he says hungry. In Morbius they just say you won't like me when I'm angry and expect you to laugh that you know what the Hulk is. Like it's like
It's or like I was wondering when watching it, like how cringy and how like vampire they're gonna get to when he reached for the coffee cup in the sunlight and he's like, ah. And then when he did that, I was like, oh, there's no way. And then he was like, no, I'm just kidding. It doesn't work like that. But still, We got the beautiful Matt Smith dance scene that he's in.
I feel so bad for anyone who hadn't seen the movie, saw that scene, and was like, "Oh, this has got to be one of the best, worst movies of the year," and then went and saw it and fell asleep for 98% of the movie, laughed at that scene, and then went home wishing they didn't do anything else. Like that. That is like major clickbait on accident. That you have one funny bad scene and the rest are just bad.
Right. No, it's honestly so. And the thing is with Matt Smith is that like apparently any movies that he has to dance in are just really bad. This may or may not be a shot at Last Night in Soho, but it is. No, Morbius, it's like insane. And then it made it even worse when like Jared Leto and all of them were in on the joke of it being a bad movie. You know what I
Yeah,
mean? Like, shut up.
yeah.
You know what
So
I mean?
about that re-release, you said in on the joke. So Morbius came out, utterly flopped, right?
It's so
Completely
bad.
underperformed in the box office.
No,
Didn't make
I'm
any.
just thinking. I'm just thinking.
Okay,
Yeah, my
didn't make
bad.
any money. So Sony, there's tails between their legs. They walk away in defeat and go on to, green light the El Muerto movie or whatever it's called, right? Doing their own thing, making the same mistakes over again. And then they notice, wait a second, people are talking about Morbius quite a bit online. They say they liked when he said it's Morbin time. They say, it's gonna make more $1 billion. They're like, there's such a big meme culture about this movie. Obviously, people want to see it. So after the full theater run of Morbius, they re-release. Keep in mind, it failed so bad. Funko, the company who will make merchandise of anything, canceled the Morbius line because it didn't make enough money. But
Wow.
they thought that the meme culture was like relevant enough and like populous enough that they would re-release the movie in theaters again. And it made less than $100,000 the second time. It flopped twice. It flopped twice.
So that's
And
really that's
in the
so
post-credit
funny.
scene that you were talking about, they took it out because they couldn't fit it into the lore, I guess. But it was removed. So
So when I remember being on TikTok and I see a meme, it's like Sony, please re-release
yes,
Morbius. We'll promise we'll go see it again this
yeah,
time. I
we'll
didn't know
promise
they
we'll see it this
re-released
time.
it originally.
Yeah, no,
That's
my
so
favorite, my
funny.
favorite one of those was like, Sony, we were all busy that weekend. Please re-release it. Like, please
Oh my word.
re-release it.
Probably cost them a lot more money to like send their movie
Oh
back
yeah,
into
dude.
theaters.
And they had to like do a minor marketing campaign, like it's back. Like, dude,
Oh
I can't.
wow.
I
I love that. That is
it's
so funny. Well,
yeah.
we spent a long time on that. I'm sorry, but what is
No,
your third
hey,
pick of the draft?
my third pick of the 2022 worst movies draft is. I'm actually so glad you picked Morbius first because I didn't want to have to pick it because I think this movie actually that I'm about to say, this hot take, this is actually worse.
I know what you're gonna say.
But Thor Love and Thunder.
Oh,
Yeah. Yeah.
you know
No.
what? You could have had that later. Not gonna lie, it's
No.
terrible, but I'm glad you took it because I didn't want to have have that on my list.
Right. Now, there's a reason I wanted this over Morbius. Um, I guess except for you, no one on planet Earth thought that Morbius was going to be good. When Sony announced it, everything Sony does in that whole Venom Spider Universe thing, like it's all just like pulling at like the loosest threads, trying to see what they can get out of it.
Yeah.
El Muerto, like I say it once, I'll say it a million times, greenlit an entire feature film, having only been in 2 comic books ever.
Uh,
Anyway, so excited for that movie. Um,
also
Morbius,
starring Jared Leto.
I hope so. Morbius had nothing going for it. It's not a popular character, which isn't the worst thing. Guardians wasn't popular. Iron Man wasn't the most popular when that came out. But Morbius, like it was less of like, hey, let's work with what we got here to make something great. It's let's work with what we got here to make some money. No one thought it was going to
Yeah.
be good. Sony hasn't had a good track record lately with the superhero stuff. Thor: Love and Thunder had nothing but good expectations, high expectations.
Yeah.
It had, well, first of all, Taika Waititi at the helm, You know, coming back after saving Thor, basically.
After a banger of a movie,
After
Ragnarok.
one of the best MCU. I'm an MCU geek, bro. I'm like, I'm looking at the whole thing right here, all like phase 1 through 3 right there. I've seen everything. Okay, it's all in here. I love this stuff, and that like Thor Ragnarok is one of the best movies in that whole franchise. And so for him to come back, keep the steamboat rolling, taking Thor into phase 4 in the new saga, and then it's just so terrible. Like it's not just okay. It's not just Thor 1. It's not even Thor 2. It is Thor 4. And that is the new low. I'm like that is it was
You are
so
so right.
bad.
You are
It
so
was
right.
so bad. You know, we talk a lot on this podcast about theater experience. I had a pretty terrible one with this movie where the theater accidentally played the 3D version of the movie and didn't give anyone any glasses because they only paid for the regular version. That aside, I was planning on going to watch it again, but I'm just not gonna. Like, there's no reason
I
to.
forgot you watched it in 3D.
There's so well, kinda.
You-
There's oh
Uh,
all
for our
right,
audio listeners, Cameron just unplugged his headset so bad. I'm
okay.
sorry.
Anyway, there
Continue.
there's there's so much wrong. Like, first of all, it's so disrespectful to the universe and also to the previous movie. Like it doesn't make sense. Like
Absolutely. No, that's my biggest complaint with it. It's the fact that Ragnarok and Matidi worked so hard to fix Thor's character and like to get it to a point, especially after Endgame or in an Infinity War. His character arc is very interesting. We're gonna see what he has now. He has nobody, which I get spoilers for, Thor 4. He ends up having somebody at the end, you know what I mean, which
yeah,
is
yeah. Which
the
honestly, like
girl.
the where it leaves off, I'm excited for where that's gonna go, especially now that Taika Waititi's out of there. But
Yeah.
like,
No, it's crazy though because Taika has made very good movies,
he's
and
made nothing but bangers for like 98% of his career.
I haven't. He's only has like 5 movies, but
Yeah,
like
but like
Jojo Rabbit was incredible, Oscar nominee movie. You know what I
his
mean?
first ever short film won an Oscar. First of all, like
What is that? Which
I don't
one's
know what
that?
it's called. I don't remember what it's called, but like his first ever like short film that he was in charge of won an Oscar.
Yeah,
That's
Hunt for
what
the Wilder
kickstarted his career.
People. That's a solid movie. Ragnarok, like we said, that's very good.
What
He
We
even
Do in the
made a
Shadows.
yeah, I forgot
Yeah,
about that. And he made a vodka commercial with Daniel Craig, and honestly, that's pretty good too.
yeah.
No, but it's like we should have noticed his downfall when he was in Free Guy, and uh,
I thought that was going to be an Adam Driver situation. Okay, what I call an Adam Driver situation is Adam Driver did the Star Wars trilogy, and then since he really mostly does like indie work, all that stuff.
Mhm.
I thought that was a paycheck to fund his more personal projects, but nope. Like
not at all. It's just he did the good stuff, so now he can just screw around and
he
like be bad.
it's literally what it is, just screwing around. Like if you hear him talk about this movie, he doesn't I don't even know if he likes it. He's like, yeah, basically we just had the actors go out there and they just did what they wanted and then we cut together the movie. There's technically a 4 hour long cut of this movie, but like most of it's not very funny and that's why you'll never see it. I'm like, okay, if this is what made it in, what did you cut out?
I
Like
have no clue. It's like, and everything, every choice in that movie was terrible. It's like with Jane Foster and everything, like some stuff with her was good, but like it's overshadowed by the screaming goats every five
oh my
minutes.
gosh,
And
dude.
then you have like Korg, which was good in Ragnarok, just says his funny one liners. And it's like, okay, this is all this movie is. It's a big joke book. But then my least favorite part of the movie, and which is the scene that scares me the most, okay? It is the scene that takes place in Olympus or whatever it is, okay? They have so much utility there that they can like make this very fun. They can bring in a lot of lore and a lot of different characters and actually make something really cool that we can revisit. First of all, I don't know why Marvel didn't try to do good with the Olympus stuff, because this would like, I feel like they can make like 3 TV series off of like whatever's happening over there in Olympus. But instead, it's all played for a joke. We get to see Chris Hemsworth's butt, and we get to see Russell Crowe as a like drunk like Zeus or whatever, and he dies or doesn't die. Dude, it's terrible.
Like
Yeah.
it going back to how I started this, Morbius was bad, but no one wanted it to be good. No one expected it to be good. This was bad, but nobody on planet Earth thought this would be bad. No one really thought it could necessarily live up to Ragnarok, but that doesn't mean don't try.
Right. No, it's like I don't know. The Guardians were like
I'm glad they
terrible in
got
it.
out of there. I'm glad
I'm
they got out
so
of there
glad.
so fast.
And I will say, with that movie and with this and another MCU project that came out this year, I several MCU projects that came out this year. It's like I used to love this stuff. Now it's more like I'm dreading for the fact when there's like another MCU project coming out. I'm like, crap, I have to go see that now. But we were given the trailer for Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3.
Dude, oh
And
my word.
and with one of the best trailers in the MCU, it like gets me super excited. And now I'm like that little kid again with like just hyped to go see a movie. And it's and I just hope I hope I'm not let down, because James Gunn seems like he's on something right now. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, I'm hoping that he thinks. I'm hoping he has more respect for his own work than Taika Waititi did, and that he
Right.
respects the Guardians and that he respects their stories and like finishes them out strong.
I hope he's not too focused on what's going to happen in DC, to where he just kind of like pushes this stuff to the sideline.
Yeah, I have no
I don't know.
idea, but I like Phase 4 of this MCU more than most, I feel, but I can't even defend this. Like, I'll
No.
defend She-Hulk, I'll defend other stuff people don't like, but I can't defend this. This is like
Yeah.
straight garbage.
Well, with that, I'm gonna go and say my fourth pick.
Okay.
All right. My fourth pick is Vengeance.
No.
BJ Novak's directorial debut. You may know him as one of the writers on The Office. That's probably all you know him for.
Yeah.
No, in reality, like, if pretentious, if pretentious was a movie, it is this movie. Okay, it is. In his own words, he wanted to make a movie very similar to Get Out, but in representation of the hookup culture. And
he said that?
Yes, he did.
No way. You don't say that about anything. You don't say that about your own movie, bro.
Definitely not. Especially since like get like an Oscar like probably should have won Best Picture over like because Shape of Water came out that year.
Right.
And I mean Shape of Water is still great, but like a movie that was like considered like one of the
you don't say that
runners
for so many reasons though. Like
versus your first movie you ever made. I get Jordan
Well,
Peele's first movie was also
yeah.
that, but like still, I'm saying like, well, let's slow your roll for a second, okay? You got Dove Cameron in your movie, okay?
That's like
chill.
That's like if Thor: Love and Thunder was like, this is the Black Panther for screaming goats. Like,
Oh, it's like terrible, dude. So with Vengeance, me and Cameron have mentioned it once or twice in this
and
movie.
I'm still down. I don't know if you are. I'm still down to go with our agreement. If it gets nominated for an Oscar, we do an episode.
Absolutely, because I know it will not. Vengeance is terrible. It's so pretentious. It's about a guy starting a podcast.
Yikes!
I know, cringe,
bro.
Man.
Just keep it to yourself. No one wants to hear none of that, bro.
But he then was me trying to explain it is actually confusing me because I don't really understand.
I mean, the premise is kind of normal. It's about a guy who's doing a true crime podcast when he decides, like, once he finds out that his ex-girlfriend got murdered, he's gonna go figure it out.
Up, and then,
right, and it's a good premise. I will say that. I'll give it to him. when a random hookup that he kind of remembers gets murdered, he uses it as an opportunity to start a true crime podcast, and on top of that, this girl's family thinks that this girl and this guy were like deeply in love and all that stuff, and so he has to
Yeah.
juggle all that stuff. And I was like, oh, that sounds kind of neat, but it's not.
The movie takes very interesting approach to many things. One of which is Dove Cameron, who plays a 16-year-old, or she plays like an underage person in the movie, but on the cover is in her underwear of the movie. So I think that's a very interesting take. I mean, maybe it's just his creative idea that he has for vengeance that we just don't understand, or maybe it's
Maybe.
just
I
something
mean,
else.
okay, now I'm not saying that's good, but I will say I've been put into perspective by some other things I've watched this year. That is honestly like not the worst people have gotten. And I don't really want to get into that whole subject, but like
It's
stuff like
not
Euphoria, I think that's a little bit like even more
fair.
across the
Okay, no,
line.
and you're right. You're right.
Yeah,
You're right. Um, but we're not talking about
we're
Euphoria.
not talking about Euphoria.
um, I well, it's just so frustrating. Like the only redeeming thing in this movie is Ashton Kutcher, who's the
And
only one
only
in the
barely,
movie,
I would
who's the
say.
only one in the movie that knows how to act.
Yeah.
And I say that because this movie has someone from Succession that I love, and like I'm upset she's in the movie because this is so
Yeah.
bad. It's so bad.
There
But
there there are good moments, I will say, but not enough to carry this. Like,
there's like yeah, whatever. Okay, don't watch it or watch it, I mean,
you know what? Go ahead and watch it because we're the only people on planet Earth who don't like it. Apparently,
everyone
it's
freaking loves this
it's
movie.
getting so many good reviews. Like,
It's like, and I knew it was, dude, because this is like the peak of like when TikTok was becoming film broy or whatever, and
yeah,
this movie was just happened to release when that happened. So everyone's like, so there's this new movie by directorial debut BJ Novak, who helped make The Office, and let me just say, it is one of the best things I've seen this year.
it, it
It's well, it's not okay.
yeah. I don't know.
Man, shoot, like I've seen
It's
funerals more entertaining than
it's
this movie.
so it's it's so long-winded and it's so pretentious. It just doesn't. I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, whatever. Okay,
Well,
Cameron, what's your pick?
my pick, Mr. Ben, is a little movie. A big theme this year with bad movies has been star-studded casts. None more than this movie, Amsterdam,
Yeah, dang it.
which, man, what a shocker. Like, I'm not even being sarcastic. Like, you know, let's not talk about the director, bad guy. We're gonna leave that there. Um, Putting this movie in the hands of the cast, you'd think it'd be something. Like,
Yeah. If like from an outsider looking in, if you don't know anything about the movie and you just see like, oh, Christian Bale, oh, Chris Rock, oh, Anya Taylor-Joy,
Margot
oh,
Robbie,
Margot Robbie, oh, you got
Robert De
like,
Niro,
yeah,
like,
Robert De Niro. You got like these huge Taylor Swift. You got like these huge names. Oh, Rami Malek. It's like, oh, how could this movie be bad? Well, Cameron, why is the movie bad? How is
um,
it bad?
this is one of the most boring movies of the year. And there's like, okay, so there's this saying that a job done well is one you don't notice being done at all. And that's basically like everything that if you're doing something really well, especially in like movies or whatever, if you're doing something really well, you're not going to notice that it's happening. When a good score is good, you don't notice it because it just happens. When good camera and good lighting is going on, you're not thinking about it as camera placement and lighting. Um there is an inverse to that, which is where when it's done bad, it's the most notable thing in the world. And this is trying so hard to be quirky and have a unique style, and it just doesn't. It just doesn't. It wants to. The characters have accents. They talk fast, and they do this, that, and the other. But like that, not everything's on par with it, and it just isn't able to communicate that tone that it wants to. And also, it's really boring. Like, it's so
It's
boring.
so stupid.
It's so boring.
I This is a movie that if you go to AMC, you can ask for a subtitle machine, and they give it to you, and you can like put it in your cup holder and like mangle it, and it portrays the subtitles. I was having more fun playing with the subtitle machine that I was watching the movie because the thing was so loud. It was like, and it was like so obnoxious that I was like laughing at it more than the movie.
Dude, that like it's crazy. And then, you know, when you think the movie's bad enough, when you've sat there for what feels like forever, the end of the movie happens, and it's just the turd cherry on the poop cake, dude. Like it is crazy. Like that is one of the worst endings of any movie I've ever seen, and purely like a execution point of view, not even necessarily in story, even though oh my word, I forgot about okay. Spoilers. I'm going for it, dude. Spoilers for Amsterdam. The big twist of the movie is there's a scene in the movie where these characters sit in a room and they're like, "Hey, what's that on the wall?" And there's three things on the wall and they're just like draped covers and they're just like, modern art. It's so stupid. I don't understand it." In the movie, it's revealed that the people they're hanging out with are Nazis. And then it cuts back to that room and someone comes in and takes down the towels and it's just Hitler's face on the wall and it's like a big reveal
And
like
this is like pre-World War II.
pre World
This
War
is like
II.
right before World War II is about to start.
Yeah, and like this guy like like does his bushes to be a swastika but you can only see it from above. Like this is like that wouldn't make sense for the time because Hitler wasn't known as who he is until during and after World War II. So like if those characters saw him, they'd be like, okay. Like
It's like if they made this movie it and they realized like watching it in post, they're like, oh guys, we did not explain what this movie's doing at all or what the message is. Quick, we need to give them a reason why these guys are bad guys. Let's just throw some Nazis in there, okay? And like that's literally what it was. It's like, by the way, guys, these people are bad because
I mean
they're Nazis.
that's how it feels, but at the same time they wouldn't have had that like you know, it's like set up from the beginning.
Yeah.
So like it was
But it's not
thought
set up from the beginning. It's literally not set up from the beginning. Terrible movie.
You should have
So
thought,
bad.
Ben. You should have thought to look at the bushes from above. You might have caught it.
I guess. Okay. Well,
Yeah.
with my fifth and final pick of the worst movies, I will say on my list, I've gotten my top four that I've written down already. And I might go out of order here. With my fifth pick, I'm gonna go with uh Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness.
Wow.
Now, I could have gone with other movies. I would have liked to go with other movies, but for the simple fact that I feel like this needs to be on the list, and I'm not sure if you would have taken it, that like I need to take this. So
I actually like that movie.
and I'm sorry,
No, you're fine, dude.
but get off the podcast.
No, dude.
Okay,
No, listen. A diverse group of opinions makes a better whole.
you're
All
right.
right.
No, Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness is my like tied for my least favorite MCU project ever, but let alone like just one of like the worst movies I've seen this year. Okay. And I think what it has to do is like from the very beginning with the trailers to the very end of the movie with a terrible CGI eyeball in the middle of his his forehead. The movie is like toys with the idea of okay, I am not one of these like fans to watch YouTube video after YouTube video to like speculate what exactly is going to happen in this movie. Like I did this with No Way Home where I'm like, oh, all three Spider-Man are going to be in it. Oh, this is blah blah is going to be in this. I did not do this. I know my brother and several other people did this where they were thinking like Tom Cruise is going to be in this movie, a whole bunch of stuff like that. I am not upset with the movie for the lack of cameos. I'm
Yeah.
upset with the movie for the lack of like quality it is. Okay.
Uh-huh.
For an MCU multi-million-dollar budget of a movie, we get terrible like visual effects with this. And I would say like pretty like rough writing. Okay. There are a few things that aren't bad in it. Okay. So one thing I absolutely kind of like is a little bit with like Wanda's stuff. Okay.
Yeah.
She was consistent through the movie until the end, which I was fine with. Okay. They were the only person I didn't care for. Wong makes zero sense in this movie, coming from like an MCU standpoint, and I was even kind of questioning him during No Way Home a little bit when he made the decision with uh Strange, and like, and I was questioning Strange's character too, with like his choices like that. Just seems kind of childish of them
Yeah.
both to do stuff like this. Either way, in my D&D campaign, I have these people fight with music, and musical notes start uh mediating from the instruments and like hitting this monster. And I came up with this idea before Doctor Strange Multiverse of Madness. No, but I think this was a waste of characters, as far as like, I felt like they were hinting at Charles Xavier to be in it like quite a bit.
Yeah.
And I'm not upset that he wasn't in it a lot. I just felt like, I think he was really there for the simple. I feel like that whole segment was there to like, look, it's the multiverse, guys. John Krasinski's here. We know y'all wanted this. And then it's
Yeah.
like, I'm not upset he died. I thought it was cool the way he died.
That was a pretty good scene. You gotta admit, like that
I thought
massacre scene.
absolutely, but also at the same time, like, why were they even in here to begin with? Like, I don't. I understand Wanda's really powerful and she's trying to kill America, and that's when the writing comes in. Is that
She doesn't want to kill her. Bro didn't watch the movie, I guess. Let me break this down.
I haven't seen it in a while. Explain it to me.
She wanted to kidnap her so she could go through the multiverse and get her children, and then she wanted to keep her, or at least keep her powers. Either way, like towards the end of the movie is when she decides to kill her, I think, because she wants to be able to go through the multiverse anytime they get sick or anything that could, harm them or kill them. Go through the multiverse to find a fix to that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Still.
So does this put it on the best list now? Now that you know that?
This is my number
Nice.
one. No, it's still where it belongs. It's rough, but the writing, when it's like, we gotta save America, guys. Can't let Wanda kill America.
We can't let Wanda take America's power. They say that like 4 times.
Exactly. Like, it's it's so stupid, because like, man, this is so patriotic, dude. I'm loving this. No, and then at the end, we got like the scene with the two kids singing about their ice cream. Super cringy.
That's the point, though. Their kid. I'm not going to defend this
No,
movie.
no,
Listen,
no, 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 no,
listen.
no, 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 no. Because, okay, first of all, you listen. There's no way on earth you're supporting the ice cream song in the MCU.
We like ice cream, like
every
every
child
good
should.
child. Yeah.
No, there's no. Okay, so I'm not even like, I don't need to. You don't need to defend that because you know it's bad.
I liked
But
it.
either way, I thought it was pretty obnoxious the way it was shot as well. Pretty pretentious of Sam Raimi too. I get Sam Raimi has a style. I like the Evil Dead. I like the Evil Dead 2. I even like the first three Spider-Man, even though the third one's kind of in its own ballpark. But I know what Sam Raimi's style is, but this is so like, guys, Sam Raimi directed this. Check out this watch shot we're gonna use for the 13th time. It's like, it's so cringy. I mean, that's my words for it.
Yeah. Well, normally I would talk a little bit about how I feel about this movie, but considering I liked it actually, it's not to this level. It's a Phase 4 movie. I'll say that. But I don't want to undermine your points during your worst list, so I won't go on about how it's actually not that bad.
Well, I guess that's for like everyone else to decide if
yeah.
who's right.
Yeah. So does that leave just the fifth one for me?
This is your fifth one.
All right. I went through my top 5 and you got I think you got one of my top 5. So, I got a few choices here. These are all pretty interchangeable, but I think I'm gonna have to go with Dog for my number 5 pick.
Yeah.
Dude, what is this movie, man? Like,
so I didn't hate it, okay?
Here's the thing.
Now say what you were gonna say.
This is one of my most memorable theater movie-going experiences of all time. And it has nothing to do with the movie at all. Okay? First of all, let's put this in perspective. Me and one of my other friends were going to see it, and then Ben is supposed to be there too. He shows up like 30 minutes to an hour late, and asks to leave early anyway. Like, and then we're the only guys in the theater, so we can just do whatever we want. So we're bored, obviously, because it's a boring movie. So we're walking around. I get to check what it's like watching a movie in the front row. Ben's taking a nap in the pews, like not pews, in the aisle. Like, it was wacky and goofy, and I enjoyed that aspect of my time with Dog. Where we ended up all sitting crisscross applesauce on the floor. Um, to watch the rest of the movie. But like when you actually think about what the movie was, it was nothing. It was nothing. It wasn't a movie.
Okay, but that's like a lot of dog. Okay, so Tanning Tatum is no, he is Dog, and I think once you understand what Dog is, then that really puts that movie in your mind. No, it's a dog movie. It's not the best. Like there's Marley and Me, and I don't know if Airbud's good, but like I feel like with this one still has some like emotional hits to it. Okay. Now, I was not invested because I showed up an hour late, but I could see that there was some care with this. So the truth is, or what the movie's about is about this guy's friend who died during service. Apparently the pastor was going wild. Anyways, so no, he died during his while serving in the military, and his dog like partner needed to be present for the funeral. So that's when Channing Tatum becomes Dog and like takes him over to the funeral, and then at the end they have to put him down. And like I felt like that end sequence was not bad at all because that was like the
Yeah,
only part
okay.
I
So you're
watched.
gonna tell me that the last 5 minutes of the movie make up for the entire everything coming before it. Listen, you don't know what you
I
missed.
haven't seen the first
There is
hour of
there
it,
is an entire
so
okay. There is a fully clothed, energy-based sex scene threesome in the movie.
what is this
Exactly.
appropriate to put in the podcast?
Listen, if it's appropriate to be put in a PG-13 dog, then it's appropriate to be put in the podcast because I just need to explain what wacky stuff goes on in this movie. They have some of the wackiest stuff going on in this movie, and none of it's interesting. These
Well,
like hippie girls like have an energy based threesome where they're like going like this and they're like feel the energy, and then later in the movie they go to this like I don't know if it's like a they go to this place and the dog just starts attacking Muslims because that's what he's trained to do, and he's like, oh, we're no, it's okay, he's just a dog, it's fine, and then they get away with it. And then, like it's
well,
weird, it's weird, a lot of wacky stuff happens, and I think you're giving it more credit because you didn't have to watch as much as
and
I did.
that's fair. It's completely fair. Well, with that, you want to share honorable mentions before we head over to our next topic?
Yes.
Okay.
So I'll go first since you
Yeah.
guys will go first with
Right.
the thing
Right.
thing. The honorable mentions that I had are Uncharted, you know, wasted opportunity. It's some good source material. I fell asleep. Um, and then you got Firestarter,
Mm. Yeah.
like
The best remake ever.
I would say I forgot a lot of it, but there's nothing to remember. So, like, and then Better Nate Than Ever, which it's a musical with only 3 songs, and I'm pretty sure 2 of them are just the same song.
Wow.
So, yeah.
Is that it for your list?
That's all. That's everything I didn't get from my list. Yeah.
Everything I didn't get from my list, going from worst to slightly better, is The Bubble. Uh it's on Netflix. You probably have heard of it. It's
I've heard of
terrible.
it. Yeah.
Pedro
Another
Pascal.
another star-studded cast.
Yeah. Again,
Yeah.
it's like I don't know. Secret Headquarters, which
Oh
is the
man, I
Owen
want to see
Wilson
that, man.
superhero movie.
I
It's
mean, I don't,
pretty
but I do.
pretty bad. Also a Disney Plus original movie, Sneakerella. Uh
That was bad.
bro, what?
You and Isaac were so excited for it.
Because honestly, I was super excited for it because me and Isaac
Yeah.
have been. Well, it was like that playful,
You've been
like
dying
stupid.
for a Sneakerella movie.
It's the stupid like hype up movie. We're like, dude, this is gonna be amazing when we just
Right.
see the poster for it on Disney Plus,
And
and then
Disney Plus hasn't failed us before. Like, High School Musical, the musical series was pretty great in season 1 and nowhere else.
fair.
You know,
Well,
I'm sorry about
um,
Sneakerella, man.
and then Disney Plus original live action Pinocchio. Honestly, probably should be in the top 5, but it's pretty bad.
It had some tough competition this year.
I think it's the worst like Disney live action remake that they've made.
Really?
Oh yeah.
Worse than Lion King?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Wow.
It's like Tom Hanks is trying so hard this year to get a supporting role, and he's not getting it. Not with this movie. I don't know what, like, he's trying to typecast, or he's trying to get away from typecasting, but as a result, he's just taking bad movies.
I didn't think he was typecast. It's Tom Hanks.
He says he's always typecast as like the good, nice guy. That's why he's making the movie The Man
Is
Called
that why
Otto.
he's The Man Called Otto, where he's
Yeah.
the good nice guy?
Yeah.
At the end, like he's grumpy at the start, sure, but he's
Yeah.
gonna be the good nice guy. Like, what are you talking about?
Right. Well, with that, Cameron, are you ready to get into our next list?
Our next list, which by the way, I should say this now that we're way too far in, but there are going to be movies that might be on your best or worst list that aren't on ours. Maybe we disagree, or maybe we just didn't see it. There's only so many movies that we can see a year. Time is limited. You know, but our next list is top 1 game of the year, top 1 video game of the year. There's a lot of competition this year for Ben. Mine's pretty easy. So Ben, I'll go ahead and let you go first with this one, unless you need more time to think.
I mean, I've probably played like 3 releases of like 2022 games, and I would say the number 1 game I've played this year that is the best is Marvel Snap on mobile.
Let's go. Let's go, Marvel Snap.
Yeah, we're not sponsored, but if Marvel Snap wants to
sponsor the What Did You Think podcast,
it is honestly one of the best mobile games I've ever played. It's super fun, super addicting, and it's just like, it's good strategy.
Ads. No ads.
Bro, a free game with no ads.
With no ads and no aggressive monetization. Like, it's not pay to win. Everything you can buy is purely cosmetic. Yeah. And you can even get the stuff in the battle pass for free. All the good parts of the battle pass are free. And the cards you can get in the battle pass are free also. Like,
it's a fun deck card game. Deck building builder game.
Yeah.
Well, Cameron, go ahead and tell us a little bit about your game.
My game of the year for 2022. Fans of the podcast might remember, this is a deep cut. Episode 1, I had a pretty interesting prop that is relevant, but I'm here to say my game of the year 2022 is God of War Ragnarok. The only reason the game of the year, top 1 game of the year, is even on this video list thing is because I wanted to talk about this for a little bit. Ben hasn't played it, so I won't say much. But oh my goodness, 2018 God of War 2018 was one of my favorite games of all time, and this one was better in every single way, and it's one of the greatest games ever made. And I'm not upset that Elden Ring won, and I'm even less upset that Bill Clinton got a nomination. But if you haven't played these games, you should probably get around to it. So yeah. Fantastic story, fantastic gameplay, emotional. Ben's gonna cry a bunch. I know it.
Wow.
Pretty great. No complaints.
Nice. Yeah. Decide which one's better, Marvel Snap or Ragnarok.
I don't know, man. I don't know.
Here's the main event, the main card, the moment everyone's been waiting for. The final and the climax of season 1 is finally here, and we're going to figure out what our favorite movies are of 2022. We're
going to flip another coin?
Or favorite shows. Are we not keeping it?
No, we're not keeping it. You're going to keep heads. I'm going to keep tails. We're flipping again.
All right, I'll keep heads. Come on.
Let's reveal it to the camera. I'm not doing any fidangling, not doing any maneuvering. Let's go.
No.
All right. I already won.
Redo it. Ending the episode.
Okay. So, hey Ben, why don't you ask me what I thought?
Cameron, what'd you think of 2022?
I thought it was a pretty great year, Ben. Obviously with the podcast, this is the second year I've actually paid attention. Well, this is the first year I've paid attention to movies more closely. Just overall, last year I watched all the Oscar nominees after they were done. This year I tried to get ahead of it a little bit, trying to I don't want to play as much catch up. I've been more tuned in this year to the film scene than ever before. So I think I have, of all years for me to do a list, this would be it. But still, there's a lot of stuff I didn't get around to seeing. So if your favorite movies aren't on my or Ben's list, it's because we didn't watch them, not because we hated them.
And for record, let's also say we have not yet seen Babylon, Women Talking, She Said, The Sun. What else am I missing?
I haven't seen After Sun, Empire of Light, a bunch of other stuff.
Pinocchio. We haven't
Pinocchio.
seen
I haven't seen
animated Pinocchio.
Oh yeah, Guillermo del Toro's.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, and pretty much anything else you like that I don't say, I just haven't seen it yet. So starting off for the best movie of the year, Wakamba Quavo, is Everything Everywhere All at Once. Not only is this my favorite movie of the year, this is my favorite movie of all time. Maybe it is. Every day I wake up, and my previous favorite and this are constantly swapping places. I saw this in theaters 5 or 6 times.
Mhm.
Like, it's so good. It is.
We saw this together.
We saw this together.
A lot of fun.
Our
man.
lives were changed at the same time. That movie going experience has impacted my life in 2 ways. 1, new favorite movie. 2, I'll never go to that auditorium again.
That's so true.
That has the like. You go ahead. You were gonna say.
It's the worst sound system in a theater I've ever heard.
It sounds worse than what I sound like right now. Like,
that's so true. It's so staticky, and it's like each noise you just hear a buzz, and it's like. But even with how terrible that theater was, the movie was still so amazing that like me and Cameron both looked at each other after the movie and we just kissed. No, but it was right after.
You're gonna tell them about that?
No, but it was legitimately like I've only felt this way twice watching a movie this year where I immediately knew like this has it in the bag. Like this is it. Like this is the movie of the year.
When did this come out? Like February?
This came out in February.
February.
And like we were saying, there's this long streak from February to October where like some movies were coming out.
This literally from February to October, I thought this deserved every single Oscar it was eligible for.
Yeah.
All right. And I did not mean that ironically. I genuinely thought this deserved every single Oscar it was eligible for. And then a bunch of movies in the last 3 months came out that gave it a run for its money. So now there's a competition. But
you're absolutely right.
This just has everything I love about movies. I love action stuff. I love like character stuff. Writing is awesome to me, and like, a lot of moving parts, intricate things that like you don't even understand how you would even start writing something like this and piece it all together. Like, it's just so incredible. Every time I've seen it, I've seen something new. Like, there's so much to take in, and it was all done for the budget of a single She-Hulk episode. Like, that's crazy. That's insane.
And I'm excited to do an episode about this. We're definitely going to do one when it gets closer to the Oscars next year. But this is spectacular. And you've like, even if you haven't seen the movie, I'm sure you've heard like that this is like one of the best movies this year.
And
like,
if you haven't, you need to, by the way.
Yeah, oh, absolutely. It's so good. My brother got a Rakakuni shirt for Christmas.
Really?
Yeah, so
good thing this is coming out after, because that's a spoiler. Hey, spoiler alert for Christmas, Isaac.
That you've already been to.
Yeah.
But yeah, honestly, great first pick. Like, it can't get much better than that. Or can it?
No, but I know what you're gonna say, and it doesn't. But you go ahead and say your bad opinion anyway.
My first pick is The Fabelmans. Those are both perfect movies. I think The Fabelmans is spectacular. What I've already said about it in the like previous episode, or no, it was 2 episodes ago. The Fable, like I'm not going to say much more to it, but it is just amazing. One of the best movies I've seen this year. I'm excited for it to win Best Picture, and
I'm excited for it to get nominated for Best Picture. Yeah.
so yeah. But other than that, The Fablemans is my first pick, and I'm extremely worried what you're going to take next.
But yeah, like I was joking, but I do fully agree. Fablemans isn't fantastic, even if I like Everything Everywhere better.
Yeah.
That it is like chef's kiss.
Well, Cameron, I'm excited to see what you're going to pick, and
My second
I
pick.
might possibly run away.
I feel so bad for picking this.
No, stop.
I feel so bad for picking this.
No, stop.
I wasn't going to. I wasn't going to, but ever since I saw it, it hasn't left my mind.
Cameron, it's been 2 days.
I've been so enamored by it. No, listen. I can't stop thinking or talking about it. My second pick for 2022 is Decision to Leave. Ben, I gave you the option in the theater when we watched it. When the credits were rolling, I gave you the option, Ben, I will let you lock this one in if you want it. And you said, no, let's be fair. And I thank you for that. But also, you kind of messed yourself up because now it's in my list and not in yours.
I've seen Decision to Leave 3 times. Okay. And just
seen
because
it
of a
once.
stupid coin flip means that what? What does it mean, Cameron? It means you just take it early. You probably don't understand what the movie's actually saying, okay?
I watched Carson Runquist's video on it. I understand.
Does he have a video on it?
Yeah, he does. It's actually really good. But dude,
well,
like,
no, shut up, idiot.
Hey,
shut up.
Hey, okay. Let's talk about it on neutral footing for a second.
All right,
let's talk about it. Like, this is incredible. Like, I haven't seen any of this guy's other stuff, but I'm going to. Like,
you don't deserve to have this. Okay.
I know that.
Just say.
No, I fully know. And this was not me being like sneaky. This is genuinely my third favorite of the year, but you already picked Fablemans. So, like,
I told you at the theater. I did. I want you to see this, and I don't want you to because I know it'll be on your favorite list. And sure enough, I shot myself in the foot.
You shot yourself in the foot. I was willing to give it to you. I was willing to let you lock it in.
Where's the fun in that? Where's the fun in that?
You're right. I'm having a lot more fun right now.
Decision to Leave is it's so good. Not better than Parasite. It really isn't, but it is up there.
I enjoyed it a lot more than Parasite. I really did. Like, significantly more than Parasite.
Wow.
Yes.
I think with Parasite, it's Bong Joon-ho. It's Parasite is a perfect movie, and my only issue with Decision to Leave is that they get over-explanatory sometimes when it comes to the writing and stuff, and we'll get more into that when it comes to like if we ever do an episode about that.
Yeah, dude. There's so much to say. The cinematography is like so absolutely fantastic. Like, genuinely some of the best I've ever seen ever. This is a kind of movie. I love it when movies make me feel smart. This movie makes me feel smart because I pick up on the symbolism. I understand what happened, and I feel like this is a movie where I could have come out of it not really getting what happened, but I feel smart for understanding it, even if it's maybe not that complicated. But even if it's not complicated, it's complex. There's a lot going on. There's a lot to consider, and you're so conflicted watching it in a good way. Like, I don't want to say anything about it, but also I want to talk about it for hours.
Yeah. Oh well, congratulations, Cameron. You're really cool.
Thank you. What's your next pick, Ben?
My next pick.
Which you obviously like this better than Decision to Leave, or that would have been your number 2. So.
No. What? Wait, what?
I'm kidding. I'm joking. It was a
joke. No, you're an L. Okay.
Oh no. Oh, you got me. Oh.
So with this, it's like I'm really struggling because I know you've got some bangers lined up. But I think
it's like the best game of Marvel Snap I've ever
right?
played.
Well, I think I'd punch myself if I didn't take this. Dude, you're so dumb.
Listen, I want you to take movies based on like, you know, this isn't. We're not supposed to tear apart from this. We're supposed to come together.
No, we are not coming together after this. Okay, this is the last. This is the series finale. Okay. Well, with this, I'm going to go ahead and take. I'm having an issue here. I'm having an issue here.
Let me tell you this, dude. My next pick, you're gonna have a freebie after this because you're not gonna have this on your list. So
Okay. Go ahead and give me Marcel the Shell with shoes on.
yeah, let's talk about it, dude.
It's my favorite animated movie this year. It is being considered to be an animated movie, which gives me much excitement because this like should win best animated feature, and it's performing like it's outperforming other animated movies for these like crummy little award shows that are happening. It got nominated for a Golden Globe, which was good. Speaking of which, Everything Everywhere has been nominated 12 times for a Golden Globe. That's absurd.
I don't know anything about the Golden Globes, but that sounds great.
Typically movies that perform very well at the Golden Globes are the ones that do well at the Oscars. So yeah. Either way, Marcel the Shell, it is such a heartwarming, emotional mess of a movie. And at the root of it is a stupid shell with shoes on. And you are just in love with the character. You're in love with everything around that's surrounding the shell. And honestly, like I connect way too much with the shell than I should. So yeah.
There are a lot of movies I watch where I'm like, this kind of needs to be seen in a theater. That doesn't go for this one, honestly. This one is just like a comfort food. Watch it wherever you can because you need to watch it. It's good for your soul.
Right. Well, Marcel the Shell, congratulations. You were the number 2 movie for me.
Yeah. Sliding right into number 3, or should I say zooming right into number 3, or should I say choo choo right into number 3? I have
wow.
I have Bullet Train number 3. This is I when I say I love action movies, I mean it, bro. I saw this in theaters 2 or 3 times. Like this, I loved this movie. And anyone who doesn't is factually incorrect.
You're right. This movie's a blast. It's hilarious. I watched it with Sarah. And like I was legit like I'm still laughing at a lot of the jokes. And I think what this director does so well is with his cameos. I think it's just so good.
Those are hilarious. It's so funny. It's so genuinely funny. It has genuine emotional moments, and like some of the best action of the decade of 2020s. You know what I'm saying? Like, but like it it's an escalation, it's a continuation, it's an elevation of like the John Wick style, but like in a different environment and all that stuff with all the stuff. And you know what? This didn't fall to the star-studded cast curse of 2022, and everyone's in this, but they're all doing fantastic.
Right.
For the most part.
No, yeah, you're right. I'm worried now what you really are going to pick because it's like I've got bangers here, and I know there's bangers that exist. I don't want you to take any of them.
You're too paranoid, bro.
I am so paranoid.
Just pick your favorite movies because you like them, not because it's a competition. Because we don't win anything from this. This is just for fun.
You're right. Go ahead and give me The Whale for my third pick.
Yep.
I need to take that. So yeah, with The Whale, we've already talked about that in our first ever episode of season 1.
Yeah.
But no, I mean it's great. Brendan's great. Brendan carries it. So yeah, I needless.
Chow,
yeah, friend of the podcast, Hong Chow. Like this is where it all started. You know what I mean?
This podcast wouldn't exist without this movie. At least not in the state that it does now.
Right. Well, like Hong Chow DM'd me. Oh wait, that was my mom. By the way, forgot to give you you owe me $20. Okay, that was
That was too funny, bro. That was
Well, anyways, yeah, The Whale is my number 3. Go ahead and go. What's your
No, we
number
got to talk about
4?
it for a second.
Well,
Like,
we've
this
already
was my
talked about
first.
it.
I know, but just to recap, this is my first film festival experience, and I wouldn't have it any other way. Like, it was so cool for like the 2 months from when I saw it to when it came out to be like watching the trailer, be like,
Some
yeah,
theaters still aren't showing it till like January 20th. So
that's crazy. But every time we would be in the theater, like even if a trailer wasn't playing, or if we would be in a scenario where we could talk about seeing the whale where other people were around, I would be like, these guys haven't seen it. I'd just be thinking that in my mind, and they're like, oh, these people definitely think we pirated it. But like, it was amazing.
right.
But yeah, number
It is.
4. Here's the thing. I could be mean here, and I could go out of my way to pick a movie I know you love that I didn't like as much.
I know what you're thinking.
I'm not going to. I'm not going to.
Why would you even
Because
do that?
listen. I have 2 movies that are very close on my list. One that I enjoyed better than the other, but the one that I know is technically better than the other, you know?
Okay.
Like if you line them up in like a best movies list, one of them is obviously above the other one, but I just enjoyed the bottom one more. And so I didn't think it would even make it here, but surprisingly, Bodies, Bodies, Bodies was one of my top of the year.
That was number 9 on my list. That was my backup plan. Bodies, Bodies, Bodies is a great pick.
I had a blast with that movie, man. Like you got to go in blind.
Mhm.
I really think so. Like I'm sure it'll be great. Like it. Uh, I'm interested in the actor's work and stuff. You know, Pete Davidson. I'm sure he does great stuff. I'll check out his other movies from this year. I'm sure nothing but bangers.
Like Good
Um,
Morning and
yeah,
Marmaduke.
Good Morning and Marmaduke. You know, I heard good things. Heard good things. They were on the top of some lists this year, apparently.
Apparently.
But you know, uh, another hilarious movie, really intriguing. Um, and like there's a lot of like, you know, this was a lot more when it comes to murder mysteries. In a year that we got Glass Onion, this one actually took the cake for me in terms of that kind of genre, where I
Mhm.
was more intrigued. I was having a better time with this, and it's not for everyone, but I think it's if the concept interests you, if Among Us the movie interests you, you should give it a shot because that's what this is.
Right. Absolutely. It's so fun to watch. Another A24 banger. Um it's just really good. And the fact that Cameron guessed it in the first 10 minutes of the movie is
I did.
also
That
like
was so fun.
spectacular. Um with my movie, I'm gonna go and take the one you were gonna go take, and that's Nope.
Yeah,
I can't
it's higher
believe.
on my list too. I just enjoyed Bodies, Bodies, Bodies more.
Wow. So were those the two that you were?
Yeah,
Wow.
yeah,
Imagine if you took Nope. I'd be so frustrated
yeah.
after
You
taking a decision to leave from me. Um, no, Nope is for many reasons one of my favorite movies this year. It may not be as like technically great as all like a lot of these are on this list, but Nope is still one of my favorites that I will always revisit. And every single time I see it like on my TV, like available to rent or buy, I always have that intrusive thought that hops in my mind of like, just do it, just watch it again.
yeah.
And I've fallen prone to that many times already. Like I've seen this movie probably 4 times so far, and it's like such a. I mentioned this with the Fablemans episode. Jaws is so like amazing to me, especially after watching Good Morning. When I could have watched Jaws instead. No, Jaws is so great to me. It's so incredible. And Nope is the like only movie I've seen like accurately take the same feeling I had watching Jaws for the first time, because watching Jaws again now is not scary. Okay.
Yeah,
Like, but watching Nope, that's like
dude.
that
That's
freaks me
like
out, man.
that one scene, which everyone who's seen the movie will know what I'm talking about. That's the only scene this year to actually give me a sense of genuine dread. Like
Yeah.
it, I,
It's like with the noises and with like
the visuals too.
and yeah, because it's such a confined
So
feeling too.
claustrophobic. Yeah.
And you can almost envision like like, you know that stupid thing on YouTube? It's like, what would you do if you were in this situation or whatever?
Yeah.
Like, I don't know what
This
you
is
want.
how to
Like,
beat the Nope.
like you want me to like freaking sing a song or something?
Yeah.
I'm dead here. You know, I'm always thinking like, bro, if I was in this situation, dude, I don't know what
The
I would
only way
do.
to win the situation is to not be in the situation. Like that's it.
Right, exactly. I'm like, maybe you don't go to a freaking ranch in the middle of nowhere when there's
Right.
people screaming. I don't know. But it the movie's message can seem unclear to a lot of people. But I'd say if after you watch it 4 times, it's pretty clear.
Yeah.
No, but it's awesome. I watched it
I
twice
need to.
uh in theaters. I was gonna say
Yeah.
twice in theaters. Um, one with Sarah, which I don't think she liked all that much, and then once with you guys and my mom, our parents. We
Yeah.
all went to go see it, and my mom was like squeezing my arm several times during the movie. It's such a fun, amazing feeling, and it's just Jaws, but it's a UFO, and like,
Yeah.
what else could you really ask
I
for?
mean, and honestly, some of the best visual effects of the year as well.
Right.
Um,
Oh, and you're absolutely right. It's Jordan Peele's best movie he's made outside of Get Out. Uh, but I don't
I
know.
will say having Get Out as your directorial debut has to be a blessing and a curse, because like making one of the best movies of all time is amazing, but how do you like everything you make following that is going to be compared to that? And every time, like when I watched Us, I thought the same thing. When I watched Nope, I'm like, well, not when I watched Us because I hadn't seen Get Out yet, but like in hindsight, I'm like, this was great, but like Get Out though, like
Right. Well, also, I think with his issue with us is writing. I think that I mean, I'm not going to get too into this, but I think his issue is like how it ends, and I think Jordan Peele's issue with like movies is how does he end them? How is he going to end them? With Get Out, I'm not a big fan of the ending. I gotta say.
the alternate ending is a better ending than the
Absolutely.
ending we
With
got. Yeah.
us, the ending's not great. And with Get Out, I mean, sorry, with Nope, I think the ending is incredible. I think this is the only movie he's stuck the landing, and for that, I do have it as a higher score on my letterbox. But I can understand that Get Out is probably a better movie. I just don't want to admit that. So
Yeah.
yeah, but Nope is my fourth favorite movie of the year. What is
Okay.
your fifth movie on your list?
Fifth and final movie of the list. You know, I'm looking at my list here, and I don't have a lot that like these like the last three things that are left based on what I've said and what you've said, they're all kind of in the same realm and like in terms of enjoyment where like I liked them, but none of them really scream best, you know? They don't break down my door, shake me awake in the middle of the night and be like, "Remember when you watched this?" Like some of these other
Mhm.
movies do.
Yeah.
Like so I'm actually going to break script here. I'm going off my list. I'm going to say Barry season 3
Ooh,
is my number 5 pick
of your favorite
of
movies of
of my
this
favorite
year.
movies. You're lucky I didn't just go back into Ragnarok, okay? So
Yeah,
my number
Barry's
five,
great
my
pick.
number 5 pick. No, yeah, Barry's great. Um, you know, it says a lot that this is on my top 5 movies of the year, and it's my least favorite season of the show. That says a lot about the show. If you haven't seen Barry, go watch it. Go watch it now. Turn off this episode and go watch it now. I'm fine with the loss of like,
HBO
yeah,
Max.
you got the, you know, um, fantastic. You know, Barry's great. I'm sure we're going to do an episode on season 4, so I'll put my more in-depth thoughts there. But season 1 and 2 are so enjoyable for their own reasons, and season 3 takes the show in a whole new direction that I initially didn't even like. I actually remember feeling so like off put by season 3, especially early season 3, that I genuinely didn't like it at the start. And over time, it's kind of grown on me. And over time, it's like this is a natural progression of what this the choices being made would lead to. And like the fact that they're willing to take the risks of moving away from the initial, because it's barely a comedy anymore in some instances.
Mm-hmm.
Like, and
No, this
the
is
fact
its darkest season. This
they're
is like
they're willing to
this is
move away
dealing with a
from that.
lot.
Yeah, it makes me so excited for season 4.
The final
But
season.
also so upset that it's going to be the final season. Um, and you know, it's Barry's one of the best TV shows out there. Definitely one of the best airing right now. Um, so yeah.
But in the words of Gene Cousineau in the show, you got to leave him wanting more, not less. And I
Yeah.
think with Barry season 4 soon to come out, maybe that's definitely the truth. To where I would love for this show to go on, but would I? You know what I mean?
Right. Like you
Because
don't want it to
with
turn into The
however long it
Simpsons or
goes,
whatever.
it has
Right.
that chance, and that chance gets greater of it getting worse.
Right.
But with you picking a TV show for your fifth best movie, I'm gonna pick a TV show.
Sure, Ben.
And
I'm sure you're going to pick a TV show that came out in 2022.
yeah, of course I
That's what
am.
the 2022 list is.
So doing some research, aka having Cameron look it up for me. I was really wanting to pick Succession season 3. After all, we didn't get a Succession season 4 this year, so I figured, oh, season 3 must have come out. Well, I was wrong. Apparently, it started premiering in December. And I was like, that's crazy. What if there's some other country that's showing it and that premiered in 2022? Then could I have it? So for this only, the reason it's not higher is that I watched that only episode that came out in Germany
Oh, the
in
last
German
three.
dubbed. I thought it was only the last
You
episode.
rewatched it dubbed?
I watched the last episode dubbed, and putting the dubbing behind me, not knowing what they're saying, I still think Succession season 3 is the fifth best movie I've seen this year. No,
So the
I'm begging
German
Cameron.
dub, the German dub of the last episode of season 3 is better than a lot of other movies this year, is what you're telling me.
I may be biased, but uh, and I'm begging Cameron to watch this show
Which I
because it
started
truly
it
is.
today.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. It's truly one of the best shows out right now. And first of all, if you can look past the camera work in the show, you little kid, then I'm sure
Whoa,
you'll
I
be
just said I'm
okay.
not a fan. I didn't say it was ruining the show.
Okay,
I'm still
sure. I'm
enjoying
also
it.
not a fan of racism, but Django's pretty good. Okay, that's all I'm gonna say.
I thought I haven't seen that, so I can't comment. But I thought the whole point was he was like killing racist people.
Still, racism's in the movie.
That's like saying that's we're going off topic.
We
Like
are going off script. Okay. Either way, Succession season 3, spectacular show. It was this excuse me. It was this or another show I was debating taking. Um, but its Succession is still one of the best seasons of television I've seen, some of the best story I've seen, some of the best performances I've seen, where legitimately I feel like they all should have won awards for what they did in season 3. It is spectacular. And I can't wait to do an episode about it. Hopefully, we do an episode about it.
We will.
But with that, what are your honorable mentions, man?
My honorable mentions for the best list. These were the ones that I skipped to put Barry on there because while they're all good, I didn't necessarily think they were fit for the list. And that is Black Panther, Wakanda Forever. Um, kind of the you know Phase 4 started and ended with some of the better stuff to come out of the MCU, but was so jam packed with mid,
So even
like
awful stuff.
right. So, Wakanda Forever, the trailer gave me that MCU hype. It got the emotion. It had the impossible task of following Chadwick Boseman's, early and unfortunate death, but like they stuck the landing somehow, and it was emotional and it was really well done. And I'm saying too much about it for an honorable mention, but I
Right.
liked it. My other two are Weird, which is the Weird Al Yankovic
It's the
biopic.
white people's Black Panther.
Yeah, I guess. I'm sure if BJ Novak made it, he would have said that. But
I'm sure he would have.
fantastic. I love parody movies, and this was right up there, right up my alley. And then Bad Guys, surprise hit of the year. On the opening night of Lightyear, me and I was going to think of what movie to watch, and I couldn't think of anything good, so I watched Bad Guys. And pleasantly surprised. Actually, pretty great.
Nice.
Ben, what are your honorable mentions?
Some may
Feel
be
free to.
upset that I didn't include this, but After Sun, it does belong here. But I mean, I did take a TV show over it, so it just no After Sun would be on there if we didn't take TV shows. Uh, and Empire of Light is is one. It's a lot of fun. I like it a lot. It's definitely not great, especially after watching the Fablemans. You realize like, oh wow, this is so much better. Empire of Light is still a very pretty movie, by directing Sam Mendes, and the cinematography by Roger Deakins. There's a reason he has Oscars for his work, and this is no exception. And the final is the TV show I was going to put, and that's Nathan Fielder's The Rehearsal. I think it's another like insanely creative and amazing TV show, and I am so happy they're making the season two. This is the only comedy show, like actual like show that's I don't want to say sketch comedy, okay, but a non-scripted program show that's actually made me feel like emotions.
Yeah.
And uh especially towards the end, it really does involve a lot of um like it puts to what Nathan Fielder's doing into like underneath a microscope of like, is it worth what he's doing when like these people are like suffering because of it type thing. Now I'm not saying like they're dying, but do you care about spoilers, Cameron?
I mean, you go ahead and say it. Yeah, go ahead and say it.
There's a kid that gets actually attached to Nathan Fielder and begins to legitimately think he is his new dad. And this little kid lost his father and has not got to know his father, and legitimately has to come to terms that Nathan was just using him for acting. And we see this really affect Nathan, like in the final episode, where he's like, is this even worth doing when this kid, I'm making this kid feel this certain way? And he
Apparently it
just
was because it's got greenlit for season 2, but
well, no, it's like with him dealing with this, and
right.
it's a very interesting take on what he's doing, and it's a lot of questions that like my parents and people have asked when watching this. It's like, this is terrible what he's doing, and that is terrible, and he is like beginning to understand this, but also it's hilarious. So I mean,
It's hilarious,
whatever.
so I'll allow it.
Yeah. But with that, Cameron, I think this wraps up our 2022
Yeah.
season 1. This is not it. Hopefully there'll be many more, but yeah, this is the end. Cameron, reflect on what's happened.
Well, of course, we've seen some movies, we've talked about them, um, but you know, when some people talk, hopefully other people listen. So let's see how we perform. You know, over the past 7 weeks, well, 6, because these uh statistics are as of the 6 episodes, prior to this. We have a total of, drumroll please, Ben, spanning 4 countries, 3 continents, and 1 globe. We have got a total of 267 listens and
Wow.
plays across
Wow.
all of our platforms. We
Yeah.
have a bustling and crazy online empire growing every day
The
across
what you
every
thinkers.
what do you thinkers, which name is a work in progress.
No, we
uh,
have officially made it worldwide.
we
So
have
you can
officially
call
made it
us
worldwide.
Mr. Worldwides.
Yeah, Misters worldwide. But the YouTube, I don't know how it's going with the exact numbers on the audio portions, but YouTube, we got 18 subscribers. So,
Nice.
that's 18 more than we had before we watched The Whale, if you look at it that way. We have one celebrity BFF in Hung Chow.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so it's been a good year. I'll go ahead and call it a year. It's been a good year. I've had a blast doing this. I don't think either of us have any plans to stop anytime soon. Um,
No.
unless
No,
Ben's
I
gonna
mean,
like, hey, surprise, last episode, it's done. Like.
I'm thinking about starting another podcast by myself called How Did You Think? And
Yeah.
or Why Did You Think?
What did I think?
Like,
Yeah. um, yeah. Well, I was also thinking about starting another podcast by myself called Things I Hate About Ben. Um, Probably don't watch it. But
I won't.
we've had a variety of guests, such as Isaac, and we've also we what
I mean, I think you've heard my dog before.
Yeah, probably. And
Sarah, I'm sure
you've
said
heard mention
something.
of Sarah. You've heard mention.
She might make it on an episode. Who knows?
Maybe
Well,
we'll see.
there might be a
Um,
face reveal.
yeah, maybe. And Ben,
And
is there any
we might do face reveals too.
true? If we get to 100 subscribers, we'll do a face reveal. Is there anything that the fans, all of our fans, all of our worldwide globetrotting amazing fans, some of which are in Germany, so they had to wait for Succession,
They
so
probably they know what I'm talking
confused
about.
at all when we were
We
talking
were
about
like, oh yeah, Succession. Yeah,
the last three
that came out
episodes.
in
They were great.
2021.
Yeah. Anyway, anything they have to look forward to in the next year?
Oh, movies. I take it. That's
Yeah.
yeah.
We have a lot of plans for the Oscars.
Yeah, we got several Oscar episodes that will be made.
Mhm.
We I would like to yeah. I won't really make any open-ended promises.
I will. A total rebranding of the YouTube channel is
Yeah.
in the works.
I
Yeah.
will say I'm excited as far as movies go. Barbie on my list. I'm super
Yeah.
excited. The
Unironically,
Dungeons and
very excited
Dragons
for
movie. Yeah, I'm terrifyingly excited.
Yeah.
And I would
Guardians 3,
say
as we were talking about earlier.
Guardians 3 is a great one. Bong Joon-ho, I believe his new movie's coming out next year,
I think so.
along with David Fincher's. So, yeah, I mean,
Me personally, I'm excited to watch Decision to Leave for the second time.
yeah. The Sun is coming out next year.
Yeah.
I mean, other than that, like, I'm excited for the movies that are like almost done being made that are going to be released in February that we have like no clue about. You know what I mean?
Right.
That is I'm excited for the next Everything Everywhere that's made by like indie director, you know,
right.
that or so other than that though, Wes Anderson's movie with anything with Hong Chow in it next year, count me in. Succession season 4. I'm excited. That's The Last of Us show.
Oh yeah. Uh-huh.
Yeah.
We were a few years late to talk about the game, so we're going to talk about the show.
Yeah. And probably the games.
It's going to be great. I'm excited to see what happens with the podcast moving forward. We might
Cameron's new microphone.
We might have another guest. Isaac could come back.
Isaac might come back next year. Well, all right. Okay, let's do some calculations here. How many episodes do we have next year? Okay.
If we never there's 52 weeks in a year. So if we never take a break, we'll do 52 episodes next year.
Nice. But we might take a break.
I don't see why we wouldn't, but
right.
I also don't see why we would. It's not crazy labor intensive to get these out.
But I mean, yeah, we've been working on because we post these on the day that they come out.
You know, right? I forgot about the absolute like. I'm gonna go ahead and stop because I don't know what it's.
Okay, fair enough. I think this has gone on much longer than it's needed to.
I'm just trying to be sentimental, trying to be appreciative. You don't need
right. I mean, we could have done it without you guys.
we could have recorded these and kept them on our computers, and probably ended up in the same place. But
we could have definitely done this without you guys.
We could have just shown these recordings to Isaac, which is pretty much our only audience right now. For you guys in Germany, Australia, and Belgium, shout out to you guys.
Right. No, we're popping off apparently.
Yeah.
Well, with that,
Danke, everyone in Germany. That's thank you.
Oh, or thank you for everyone in Australia.
Yeah, thank you.
Oh, I think we're done there. I think we're just gonna.
Yeah.
I think it's time to blow this scene. Get everybody in the stuff together. Okay, 3, 2, 1, let's jam.